I find this interesting. I was reading this and I was like, yeah, of course, that's what you always teach me. It's like we're either in our north node or our south node. We're either coming from our highest and best or our lowest and worst, right? It's, your true north or your ego, your fear. And yet, I guess that's what people say it in different ways. And even the way I just said it might not make sense to some people because that might not be the language they speak to understand, like, what the fuck is she talking about? But they just took me to this one little clip that says, they tell us about this, for he says that when Christ returned triumphantly to heaven after his resurrection and victory over Satan, so after he got back in his north node and rose again to his best self after he fought his demons, he gave generous gifts to men. He shared with everybody his wisdom, what he had learned, what he had conquered, how he saw the shadow, is how I took that. Okay. Notice that it says he returned to heaven, meaning he turned upright. He went up to his highest and best. And so then what's it say? This means that he had first come down from the heights of heaven, far down to the lowest parts of the earth. The same one who came down is the one who went back up. Right, of course, because that's what we do. We fall from grace, but we have to understand our low point to bounce back up to our high point. Sometimes we have to discover and experience and understand what it feels like to know we don't like it, to go back to what we do like. Same one who came down is the one who went back up. And he might fill all things everywhere with himself, from the very lowest to the very highest. Right? So it is that idea of, it's like bumpy on the way down, but it's better going back up. It's also that idea of understanding then, right? For lust versus love, this versus that, right? They talk about it in ways somewhere about, it's 7 something. It could be considered your chakras. It could be talking about, you went from your crown to your root, but it's talking about both sides of that, right? Because if you're coming from your south node, you don't hear it the right, well, again, my opinion, the right way, meaning you hear it reverse. But then when you're upright, you're coming from your north node, you feel and hear it and understand it. But we do need to discover and determine and decide both sides to know the difference. Because oftentimes, I've discovered and learned through them and through hearing this many different ways that many people may speak on the quote, good side, right side of things, but they've never experienced the other. And they're actually in their south node and have no fucking clue. And so then when they get their eyes opened and their ears unclogged, they're like, holy shit. I was operating on my south node, but I swear I could have sworn to you I was operating from my north node. But then they see. So I've shared you this in ways where it's like, I could be doing something that I was taught and it was habitual and it was autopilot and I believed it was the right way and that was what I had familiarized myself with and that's what felt normal and that's what I was told was good. So even though it caused pain, I also had that conflicting confusion that no, this is good and this is the right thing to do. And so then when the veil gets lifted, you're like, holy shit, that's manipulating, right? Like when people pleasing, you think you're being nice. No, you're manipulating. You're trying to steer somebody else based on what you prefer. And so when you start to see all that and hear all that, you're like, holy shit. Well, that person might not have ever had ill intent, right? Like my example, I didn't have ill intent, but it doesn't change the facts. It still isn't being clear. You're not clear. You're operating in a form to control outside of you, of which it's the idea of it's illegal, right? Like that's not, I just use that terms for simplicity. And so then when you understand that, see that, hear that, you're like, holy shit, I was doing that. And you can see more clearly. Now you know better, you got to do better. So then but prior to that, if I understood and you used those terms of north and south node, I would have said I was operating from my north node. That's what a lot of religious people, what are you talking about? Of course I am. But then when the veil gets lifted, they're like, holy shit. They can see clearly and they're like, oh my God, I didn't understand that's what he was saying. Well, good. I'm glad you're holy shit and I'm glad you're horrified by your actions because that means it wasn't intentional, right? But now you have to do better. So if you keep going back, operating the old way, you either lied and it was intentional, or you don't care, or you're saying fuck you, or God knows what. Does this make sense to people? Oh, God. Yeah. Filth, yeah, everything, right. Because then when you can see better, you do better, right? So when you go from the very lowest back up to the very highest. Ay, 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 right. The idea of from the devil to God, from the demon to the angel, from the lowest to the highest. It's whatever terminology you want to use, whatever field you're in, it's all the same across the gamut. And, optimists, pessimists, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. But if you can see, if you can hear, in whatever way you can see and hear, it can help you steer the way you want to steer, right? The way that feels good to you. But most people have no idea what feels good to them because, again, they're topsy-turvy. Like I've shared with you many a times, I've been topsy-turvy. It's like a fried nervous system, right? My body's screaming, this is painful, I don't like it. My mind's going, nope, too bad. You're a good girl to do it that way. That's the way you're supposed to do it. My body's screaming, I don't like this. No. My mind's going, no. That's what we like. That's what'll keep us safe. That's good. So my nervous system is getting so fried in this tug of war and this confusion and delusion and this inability to clear up the confusion and get on the same fucking page. But everybody has to figure that out for themselves. Like how many of those wars are going on inside of you? You probably would be surprised by the number of them going on. Because usually once you see 1, 2, 3, they start popping up, right? Again, it's just an easy term. It's like the idea of Judgment Day. It all starts getting tossed up. But it's also your subconscious letting you know that you're ready now. You want to feel good. You're ready to feel good. You can handle this now. It's not going to be easy, but you can handle it, So maybe that's why they keep showing with the wave of the like 144. It's like 144 at a time already, but it could take billions of lifetimes for that soul to be able to be brave enough to face all I was going to say endure, but, again, it's not always like that. Only because, we're having an argument over here. It's like I don't like to always say it like that because then I don't want to add in scare or fright, but it's also you don't want to not add in. It's like you don't want to underplay it and you don't want to overplay it, but it's also the understanding it's different for everyone, right? Those who don't need to hear it, don't need to hear it, don't need to listen, don't need to be scared about a damn thing. They know they're not even listening. They're in their north node, right? And those that do, it's like just take a look for your own sake. It doesn't have to be as scary for you as it was for me, right? But I can only speak from what I know and I experience, but I'm also well aware that you are not me and I am not you. So it might be irrelevant, some of these things. So just bear all that in mind. Alrighty. Oh, that's funny. They have me say bear because, of course, I am optimistic. But that's how some people are. But many could argue that's not always good. And we don't need to get into those debates. How about we don't? Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.